First autocross for the Rocket Miata. And this is what we're doing. And this is what we should be doing. We started out with the plan to take a naturally aspirated 1.6 liter, really boring automatic transmission NA Miata with a lot of miles on it and some previous wreck damage and turn it into a really cool little car that had a lot of track potential and mimicked the Carroll Shelby Super Snake. The vehicle was actually in pretty good shape. No real body damage to say other than a few pop knots. The clear coat was flaking off, but underneath all of that, we had some relatively severe frame damage. The upper right frame rail was pushed up and in, and with a small unitized body car, it was a challenge. But Ricky Gray came through and got us straightened out within factory specs. All right, here's a quick lap around the Miata. We've got it gutted on the inside, getting ready to put some sound deadener. I just pulled the windshield out. Here's the moneymaker. All right, so obviously there's no cooling. We're going to fix that. And then the enormous hole in the hood, we're going to fix that too. Got to do some whittling. And of course, this is pure mock-up with the red duct tape, so don't judge me. But she's coming together. It's a roller, finally. And just, I'm having the time of my life with this car. The beauty is this drivetrain is you can pull it out of this car and I can put it in anything, a Chevelle, a pickup truck, it doesn't matter. So I might just beat the heck out of this body and then move the drivetrain along to something else. I might keep it exactly like it is. I don't know, but I can't wait to drive it. I'm giddy. With the help of Steve Longacre and a great rendering, we ended up with a really neat project plan. With almost 2 years in the making, lots and lots of preparation, lots of labor time. Now we've got the Rocket Miata, a 500 horsepower, 2,700 pound vehicle that's going to be really fun to take on an autocross. We chose Grip Autocross in Gadsden, Alabama for the first legging out of the Rocket Miata. And while all the other drivers were walking the track and learning the nuance, we were trying to get the freaking car off the trailer because it wouldn't start.
If you spin out here, your run's over. Don't be a hero. Press the clutch in or just ease on back. It's right here. So we're just trying to be a little more organized, and it really helps Sean out a lot when we don't have late registration. Difficult it is to keep that spot. So we are in the city limits of Gadsden, and literally their police station is right there. So they support us, they like us here.
The actual legitimate inspiration for the Rocket Miata was on site on the track, and it was amazing. It was a big V8 Cobra kit, and it was stupid fast. And while he was going around the track making hot laps, we were still trying to figure out what was wrong. I had brought an extra O2 sensor just to make sure that we had all the extra spare parts that we might need if we had a failure. In the meantime, there was a cool second-gen Camaro that was, racing. Well as some NC and ND Miatas. Really great cars. Heck, somebody even brought out their rental car. It was literally in the upper 90-degree temperature range. And on concrete, it was hotter than that. With the car safely chalked and up on the trailer with the front wheels, we ended up trying to diagnose and replace the oxygen sensor. The one thing we did have going for us was we had a lot of people offering help for tools, for assistance, for advice, and I'm not being sarcastic. It was great to have everybody pitch in. Meanwhile, everybody else is doing this.
Check out there in the
Rodney Prouty was there with his War Machine. Great first-gen Camaro. Unbelievable car. Racing. After replacing the O2 sensor with no success, we ended up going underneath the car and get access to the crank sensor, which is behind the starter, underneath the long tube header. In the meantime, a red Miata was making fast runs. As well as a white Miata making really fast runs. And another newer generation Miata making, like I said, really fast runs. So, the thrash. Stuff was going wrong. We replaced an oxygen sensor out here in the 100-degree heat. Wasn't the problem. So, JJ and Rodney Prouty said it's probably a crank sensor. So Rodney went and got us a crank sensor. Rodney Prouty from Suspension Geek, and God bless him. And the crank sensor, we got in there. You need a little tiny doll hands to get into the crank sensor itself. We did it between me and Chuck. We got the crank sensor, changed out, started put back, runs like a top, and then it acted up again because it's in a really bad mood, like me. Number 40, the white first-gen Miata, was kind of the one to beat as far as my class goes, small tire Group 2. And I think we figured everything out. All right, so a quick update here. We changed an O2 sensor. We changed the crank sensor. And it was running great, and then it wasn't. Come to find out, it's a loose connection to the back of the computer in the glove box. So now, we're finally ready to run, and it's 96 degrees. We're staged, we're in Group 2 something, and we're finally gonna get to leg this car out. Woohoo! So we got through tech inspection, threw the top down because the air conditioner still doesn't work, and got the car ready. Took everything out of the trunk, got the helmets out, made sure there was no loose debris or parts or anything else tumbling around in the floorboards, and we got this silly thing ready to go around the track. We didn't have any cool magnetic signs to put our number on the side of the car, but we had a couple rolls of tape. Staging behind a really bad to the bone RX-8 was kind of fitting, sort of in the family. All eyes were on the Rocket Miata because it's kind of unusual. It was a little weird to see an LSA blown LS V8 in a first-gen Miata. So the pressure was on. We were late to the game. I never got a chance to walk the track. I was nervous, and I didn't know what to expect with the turns. And guess what? I found the first turn, and the suspension unloaded, and I spun myself around in a circle. That was fun. No, it wasn't fun. So with my figurative tail between my legs, I finished the rest of the run and actually took the time to idle around and loosely learn the track, so I knew what was going to happen on the next run. I found the limits of traction. That's a good thing. I embarrassed myself in front of everybody here. That's a bad thing. So we're gonna try it again. We let the car cool down a little bit, and I took a look around at all the rest of the competition. What a great bunch of cars. Another NA Miata, another NA Miata, another NA Miata, and then a big fat Mustang. For my second run, my attention was on 10, and I actually made it around the track without spinning out. And turned in a respectable high 29-second run.
Yeah, when you come around the curve, that back tire was, and this one too.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so there were several comments made that maybe you've got too much.
So yes, people were watching us, but people were watching for the right reasons. We had great feedback from people noticing a little bit of looseness in the suspension, as well as that we might have had too much tire pressure.
So the white Miata ran a 30.0.
Okay.
You ran a 29.8.
Okay. So, I don't feel so bad anymore. Another Miata, 30.0. I ran a 29.8 on my first actual run where I went around and didn't wipe out any cones. So, it's a process. We're getting there.
Had some great driver's tips from Trackside Susie, who is a really, really good driver with a bad to the bone car that was sitting out the day to day. I so appreciate people literally wanting to help for the right reasons. It was kind of awesome. After letting the car cool down, we went at it for another run when our group got called up. My confidence was building, and the car was just doing great.
$28.9.
28.9 seconds proved to be our best run of the day, and boy, it sure felt good. But it also felt like I could shave some time off of it.
Well, what I'm seeing is a whole bunch of cars that people just drive and they're here racing, which is really cool, don't you think? Oh, it's awesome.
It was still dang hot, so I found some shade in the announcer's tent, and guess what? They threw me a microphone. So we did a little bit of color commentary, talking about some of the great cars that were there.
Cars, Rowdy Crowdy's here. We've got some really well-built cars, but man, it's just such a cool mix.
32-234 for number 91, red Miata, another red Miata. The red Miata's everywhere.
It's the best color for a Miata.
I like white. I had a white NA. I liked it. And I love the Smurf blue on the NA.
You know why mine is red?
Because that's the one you found.
Well, I found it red, and I was too lazy to paint the door again, so I thought I worked everything else and painted it red just because I got tired.
All you needed to do was find a complementary color. That's all you had to do.
Our 28.9 proved to get us into the shootout, which was completely unexpected. And that's a more of a testament to the vehicle than it is my driving skill, because it's just a dang fast car. And between me not sucking and the car being really fast, we actually made it. It was pretty neat. This event was actually classified as a night event, and it was getting around dusk, which gives us a really cool vibe in which to drive. The autocross course was very well lit and very well marked, and what a neat feel when the sun started to go down. It was a nice relief that the temperatures dropped a little bit as well. This was literally the first time I've ever driven this car at night. So we had the cool yellow headlights on, and it was just a neat experience doing a couple of night runs. It feels different when it's dark outside. Your attention is even on a higher level, and it just feels like you're going faster. We pulled off another low 29-second run, but it just wasn't enough. There was a first-gen Mustang that was bad to the bone that I was grouped with because our times were the closest in the trials, and He basically ate my lunch and just took me to task on that. But it was okay because he was a seasoned driver with a great car. Driving this car is amazing. So on top of the huge sense of relief for actually having the redemption of having it on the track, I had this huge sense of pride. My good friend TC Pennick was there for the first inaugural run. He got to ride along with me a couple of times, and we got an amazing response from the car. The car handles great. It's so fast. All the V8 Roadster's components performed flawlessly and really held the car together, from the chassis stiffeners to the suspension components. Everything worked in concert as a beautiful, beautiful high-performance car. The R&D performance calibration never let us down. BF Goodrich tires are super sticky on the Goodwin Racing 15 by 10 inch wheels, and there were no more glitches from the oxygen sensor or the other connections that we found. The Blackbird Fabworks roll bar made me feel safe and further tied in the suspension to the other chassis stiffeners. T56 Tremec transmission worked great. The McLeod clutch worked great. So now I can learn the car. Now I can feel the nuance of it. Now I know what it feels when I have my foot fully in the throttle, and I know what the car is going to do. It's amazing. And I'm so glad that we had this experience. We came through the fire, literally the concrete was hot enough to have been on fire, and rose up to find redemption and get the Rocket Miata on the track where it belongs. It was an amazing day. There's going to be a lot more video coming soon on this vehicle. This is not the last you're going to see of the little Rocket Miata.